Welcome to Your Family's Health. This is Professor Joan Buckley and Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard from the Department of Nursing here at Nassau Community College. Your Family's Health is a program that focuses on healthcare issues and the resources available to you here in Nassau County. On the show, we speak to experts from around the country to keep you up to date on current healthcare issues and trends. And today we're going to speak to Lindsey Stravino. She's the CEO and owner of R.E.S.T. It's a special studio, so it's not just about resting, but it's a float spa, and it's located here on Long Island in Rockville Center. So if you want to know more about how to stay healthy in Nassau County, stay tuned for the next half hour to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. So welcome to the show, Lindsey Stravino and Jeanine Cook-Garard.
Yes, welcome, Lindsay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Lindsay, you're very young. So this is something very new. And just knowing you were coming on the show, this is the first time I've actually ever looked into this kind of therapy or this kind of a relaxation mode. So could you just introduce us to how someone so young, I mean, you've got experience, you've got business, you've got education, master's from a lawyer in Delphi, so you're definitely a local girl. How did this become, who are you and how did this become part of your passion?
Okay, so basically, I'm going to say that I am a chronic sufferer of anxiety, and I also do have a business partner. Her name is Lisa Montana, and Lisa often used to basically had suffered from migraines. So both of us started floating at the only place that we knew, which would have been a float place in Brooklyn called R.E.S.T, and we started to float, and we basically felt a lot of relief from our symptoms.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Now, so you're talking about migraines, right?
Yes.
What is R.E.S.T? Because it's R period E period S period
yes.
T period. So I said, it can't be about just going there and rest. What is that, and how does that kind of something that we can understand?
R.E.S.T is basically an industry term, and it stands for Restrictive Environmental Stimulation Therapy, which is essentially what you're doing when you put yourself into an isolation tank, if you will, or you're trying to reach a sensory deprivation place. So you're restricting the environment of sight, sound, smell, and you're relaxing, almost getting yourself to a place of meditation. And with that, there's tremendous benefits, both mentally and physically.
Who comes to you? Like, do you find people coming word of mouth?
Yes.
People that have been going to Brooklyn and said, oh my gosh, now it's closer to home.
I think that the New York area, the Northeast, if you will, there's popularity is gaining in the Northeast. There are hundreds of float spas around the country, but I believe here in New York, it's a busy place, and people no longer want to be suffering from their stress and anxieties and even their, injuries and health things. They don't want to be on medication. I know physical therapists and occupational therapists are now suggesting flotation therapy as more of a holistic remedy.
Well, we like that. What do you think about connecting the psyche and the body, Jeanine?
I think that's awesome. I want to know, where are you located exactly?
We are on Sunrise Highway in Rockville Center.
Oh, okay. Local. And do you have one?
We actually have 4
location?
units. We have 2 pods. We have one location right now, yes. Within our facility, we're a 2-level flotation spa. We have 2 pods and we have 2 tanks.
Okay.
I'm going to say that the tanks are very large in size, roughly the size of an elevator. Honestly, you could, regardless of being able to do the backstroke, you can fit 3 people in our tank. Only one person floats at a time. But I like to kind of dissolve people's reservations as far as claustrophobia is concerned and assure them that these tanks, although maybe seem intimidating, they're not. As soon as you arrive and you see them and you shower and you dim the lights in the room, you realize that.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. So the requirement is that you shower.
Yes.
Are the tanks filled with water?
The tanks are filled with the pods 1,200 pounds, the tanks 1,600 pounds of dissolved Epsom salt water. So it's pure Epsom salt. You're buoyant. You're experiencing gravity-free circumstances, no matter what. A lot of people ask us, I'm not a good swimmer. Am I was just going to ask that.
Right. What about the water phobia?
You're going to float no matter what. We're constantly checking our water with a hydrometer, and you're buoyant. we're positive.
If I was to say, say I had migraines or I had chronic fatigue or had something that I just really wanted to take a chance, and someone said, I tried this, it really worked. Right? I have a friend who tried it, and it really does work. What would I expect? Would I call up and say, I want to make an appointment for an evaluation, that kind of thing? Like, who's involved in the whole? I know you have a partner. Mm-hmm. Who else is involved in screening? Possibly,
we normally, if Lisa and I, when people call up and they say, I'm interested in coming to float, we ask them questions such as, are you the type of person that can relax for 60 minutes or 90 minutes? Do you normally get massages? Are you okay being one with yourself? And at that time, we kind of get a gauge, like, are you hydrated with water? It's, we want people to be hydrated, so it's the best possible circumstance when they do float. Again, like, you're absorbing magnesium through your pores, right. And you just kind of want to be in a good headspace. You want to be in that place where you want to relax, and floating is a practice thing. So, your first float will be very different than your second, your third, and then again your 45th and 100th float.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, with this package that you have, in terms of charging for the float experience, what is the range in terms of pricing?
It's anywhere between $60 and $80 to float.
Is that per float?
Yes, per float. Okay. Just sometimes people buy packages and they will buy 5, 8, 10 floats, and then they'll use them throughout the week. Sometimes people want to come 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes people are comfortable coming once a week.
Right. Can you give us a history of floating? Like, what's floating? What is... I mean, I know the water's heavily salted, so that, of course, you're going to float. And we know we float better in the ocean than we do in our pools. Yes. So it's kind of like that thing, I think. It's easier, right? But what's the history? I mean, it's not brand new. It's been around.
It's not brand new. It's been a therapy since the 1950s. I do believe that it took a dip in, unfortunately, the 80s when the HIV virus was a big concern.
It was new, right?
Yes. And, people didn't understand, how or why they were getting this disease. So I do think attributes the reason that it took a dip. But I feel like now there are hundreds of float spas around the country, mostly out west. But like I said, I think that they're making their way into the Northeast. Basically, I think that we're in a world where people are turning toward holistic remedies more and more and trying to get off medications and things like that. And I believe if doctors would suggest remedies like this, then it would be really ultimately a better place.
It's not for everybody, but it is for... Everybody's got a different niche. And we talked about this before when we were talking about holism just before the show started. So, for example, if I came in, so the first thing you'd ask me a list of questions and you try to identify something that say, this might not be for you. Has that ever happened? Where you've listened to someone, or can you gently... get them in? And
it has happened. I think that it's managing people's expectations. Again, if you're an anxious person, if you're a person that doesn't want to be alone, if there are definitely cases where people just can't get on board or just cannot relax or aren't comfortable in water. Some people don't like to be submerged in water more or less.
So you're floating by yourself. You're not with a person. So I couldn't bring in my girlfriend or someone else to float with.
Well, ultimately, we have a lot of people that come in as couples and friends again. And as you come in, we have you take off your shoes, and that's, the part of the relaxation process. You put on some spa sandals, which we provide you with. You sit around our float lounge, we like to call it the pre-float lounge, the post-float lounge, and we'll give you a questionnaire. And in that questionnaire, we want to know a little bit about you. What are your symptoms? What brings you in today? How did you hear about us? Just so we know, what your expectations are, and then we can talk to you about what floating is. And then we'll walk you down into your room and get you comfortable. We like showering. We discuss that. We tell you how to put your earplugs in. We provide you with towels and things like that, and then kind of show you how to work the unit. Whether you want to keep the meditation music on that is there, you want to turn it off. If you want to keep your lights on within the tank or keep turn them off. Obviously, we want you to get comfortable and get you to that sensory deprived place. which is turning the lights off, essentially.
I can't even imagine. Honestly.
It sounds like it has a lot of benefits. I'm thinking, body, spirit, and mind, all of these combinations, how it can really be therapeutic for an individual.
It's tremendous. Yeah. And I always, we sit back and when people come in, they're normally difficult to approach. Right. They're not relaxed, apprehensive, and people come out and you can see in their eyes that they are just relaxed in a different place, that they've been.
How about emergencies? Like, say I went in, and I know I wouldn't be able to tolerate the anything like that. I wouldn't be able to be I have trouble in a CAT scan. So,
Kathleen, I assure you, it's like the size of a car, the pods, and you have your own handle, and aesthetically they're white and they're beautiful, and
they look good.
And
so you don't feel claustrophobic.
You do not. Between the dim lights, between the water being warm, again, the water is set to
95.
That's good to know.
You know what? It varies. It's usually around. We want you to not be able to feel where your skin ends and the water begins. That's part of this magic.
I have to tell you, I do swim a lot, and I have a pool in the yard, and the most relaxing thing is to lay on the bottom of the pool and look up, right, for as long as you can. And so I so appreciate the water, but I really, really would want to be able to reach you. So is there something I can speak to?
Actually, we do
have
a
safety piece.
It's funny that you say that. We have put in intercom system in every single room. So in the event that maybe you needed another earplug, maybe you had a question, maybe there was an issue or a concern, you just pick up the phone and you dial the intercom, and we will talk to you, or we'll come to the door. This way people aren't running throughout the spa.
like me, right?
So there's a professional on staff at all times.
Yes, either I or my business partner will
respond.
You. Absolutely.
This is the perfect time for the break, because now I'm panicking. I need to think about it.
You need to float, right?
I need to float. Okay, so you're listening to Your Family's Health on the Voice of Nassau Community College at 90.3 WHPC. This is Joan Buckley and Jeanine Cook-Garard, and we're going to continue talking with Lindsey Stravino from R.E.S.T Float Spa in Rockville Center after this short break.
Hey everyone. Let's all stop what we're doing right now and take a moment. That felt good, huh? Just like that, we had a nice special sort of moment together. Of course, they don't all need to be quiet moments to be special. They could be loud moments, goofy moments, sporty moments, dorky moments. Moments where we talk or walk or just hang out. It doesn't really matter. They all count. Because every time dads like us take a moment like that to spend with our kids, well, it's pretty momentous. Sounds like somebody agrees. So let's take a moment to make a moment. Today, call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council. WHPC.
Welcome back to Your Family's Health. This is Jeanine Cook-Garard and Joan Buckley, and we welcome back our guest, Lindsey Stravino. And we have questions now because, Lindsay, we talked about some of the issues that a health spa like this may provide or you may encounter. But what are the reasons people come to you? Like you talked about migraines. You and your co-owner have a migraine. That was your catalyst, to speak, to seek this closer to home. But what are some of the issues that people come by you for?
I'm going to say that people are floating for reasons such as improving sleep patterns, increasing athletic performance. It strengthens your immune system, relieves pain from injuries and ailments, and basically inflammation in joints. People feel like they're achieving a lot of relief as far as that's concerned too.
What's the youngest person that you've ever floated? We
do have an 18 or older in our spa, although I have had a couple of 17-year-olds that have floated with the parent being there and signing off on that, which is fine for stress, testing, athletic performance and things like that. I do think that as in the area that we live in, not only are adults, suffering from anxieties and life stresses, but people younger and younger are starting to suffer.
No, it's true. Jeanine, what did you do?
So I was looking at some of what you were telling me about this device, and I'm saying that, even with the muscles, it relaxes the muscles, the immune system. What are some other benefits of the body does it do?
Basically, I'm going to say that during floating, there is an abundant production of theta brainwaves, which show to continuously produce after up to 3 weeks after for